Hello, I'm Henry, and this is Raise Your Game. Raise Your Game is a personal development blog in which we try to share topics or ideas and things that can help people run their race or play the game of life. Because we have adopted the metaphor of life as a game as the way we would try to explain these concepts to people. Today, we're going to talk about a subject called change your perspective. Perspective is the way you look at things. Perspective is the paradigm through which you look at things. It's like a covering, it's like a glass screen through which people view life and make interpretations about what they see on the outside. So today what we're trying to talk about is that if you are trying to get from a point A to a point B and you are having difficulties in making that transition, or you are trying to accomplish something and you're not getting good results with those things, or you have tried something and it has not worked and you are looking for a way to get a better result, we're saying that what you may need to do will be to change your perspective. Because in life, perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. How you look at things. Sometimes the matter at hand is not about what happened. The matter at hand is about how you reacted to what happened. Because a lot of things go on and you may not be able to lay a blame on who or what happened. You may not be able to lay blame on the economy. You may not be able to lay blame on your friend or that other person. You may not be able to lay blame on the device or the software. You may only be able to lay blame on the way you looked at it in the first instance. Because this is how life is. You get experiences, and because of those experiences, whenever you are faced with a situation in future, you do not think about every little thing all over again. You just adopt the mindset, and that's why it's called a mindset. And mindset is a pre-programmed pattern through which people act. It's something that has been established, hardwired into our subconsciousness. And you find out that mindset is not a bad thing, because mindset is how you go on in life. Mindset is good for survival, but it's bad for creativity. It's good for survival in that when you wake up in the morning and you have to walk to the bathroom, you don't have to think about all the processes you need to do to walk to the bathroom. All you have to just do is go back into your mind and remember how you did it, and your body just automatically does that. So mindset is good. But when it comes to creativity, when it comes to achieving great results, when it comes to being creative, moving from a point A to a point B, making a quantum leap, you have to understand that mindset can be a bad thing. Because mindset means that you have processed information in the past about something, and your experience with that situation over and over again is going to be determined by your experience in the past. And the truth about the matter is that even things that used to be the same, even things that look the same, years apart, will have a different circumstances surrounding them. And if you approach them based on the experience you had in the previous period of time, you may make a wrong judgment. And it's important to understand that. For example, you ask a person, can you name your child Samantha, or can you name your child Tony? And some people react violently and say, I can never name my child Tony, or I will never date a guy called Tony, or I will never date a lady called Rita. Why? It may be somebody who says that may have had a very bad experience with a guy named Rita, or a guy named Tony, or a lady named Rita in the past. And because of that, every interaction with that name always evokes a violent response. Some other people do not have any response about what a name Tony may be, or Rita, because they have not had any experience with that name. Now you notice the problem is not with the next Rita that they're dealing with, is not with the next Tony. The problem is not with them, but it's with the experience they've had with that previous person. And in physics, there's something called the dispersion of light by the dispersion of white light by a prism, which means that if light goes through a prism, what comes out on the outside is you have several different colors. For example, and this is what you have. you have light coming in through a prism. Then after some time, once it gets in through the prism, it comes out as all these colors. So for example, so if you're standing here and you're looking at the light that is coming from the prism, you will say it is red. If you're standing here, you will see the light that is coming from the prism is violet. If you're standing here, you will think that the light that is coming from the prism is yellow. But you see, the problem is not with you, because that's what you can see. The problem is not with the white light, because that's what it is. The problem or the issue is with the prism through which this light has gone through before it comes up to this point. And that is a problem with many of us. We are going through life using the prism of the past to judge the situations of the present and the future, and a lot of people don't get things to happen that way. Zig Ziglar once said that doing the same thing the same way over and over again, and each time expecting a different result, is one of the many definitions of insanity. You can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So how does it work? Your mind is a sense organ. Actually, you don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind through your eyes. You smell with your mind through your nose. You hear with your mind through your ears. These are sense organs, but the mind is the major organ. And in life, as you go from place to place, as you grow older, attain things, try things, it's your mind that gives you the information. Your mind is that prism. It's your mind that determines what you believe and what you think about something. So which means that, for example, now the white light comes through a prism, it is seen as red. And if you consistently see that as red, what happens is that every time you see white light, what you see is red. So which means your mind has been hardwired to see white light as red. And if that process becomes established in your mind, every time you see white light, you will see red. Now the problem is not with the white light, the problem is not with you, it is the fact that you have chosen a prism that sees white light as red. And no matter how much you try, if you go about that business, starting a business, or if you go about approaching that same exam, or writing that software, or getting that result, or going for that job interview and expecting to get a different result, it is impossible, because you are still operating with the prism that sees white light as red. The only way you can change the result you get is to change the prism through which you are looking at these things. And how do you change the prism through which you look at these things? Is a process called the renewing of the mind. Now the renewing of the mind it's a deep thing. It's not something that people talk about it and mouth it here and there, but it's something that involves an active process, because these eyes, your nose, your ears, these things, they send information into your mind, and once your mind has processed those information over a period of time, it gives you a pattern of action. For example, when you eat a proteinous meal, you don't tell the contents or the amino acids in that protein where to go. When you take a food that is carbohydrate, you don't tell the glucose where to go. When those things get digested in your system, they find their way, the proteins or the amino acids find their ways to areas that need amino acids. The glucose finds their way to those that need glucose. That's the same thing. When your eyes see things or your ears hear things, you don't tell them where to go. Your mind, those things go into your mind and fit into where they can fit. And eventually they present something to you. What you discover when you eat is that you add weight, but you don't just add weight anyhow. Your ear doesn't just grow outside of your head. They grow in proportion. Those parts that need to go to the muscle go to the muscle. Those parts that need to go to the liver go to the liver. Those that need to go to the nerves go to the nerves. So this process, you have to understand that the information that goes into your mind is processed in a way that is now presented to you for future references. So which means if I want to change my experience about things in the future, I determine that by deciding what I see today. I determine that by determining what I hear today, by the friends I surround myself with, by the kind of network I allow to be around me. If I surround myself with game masters, if I surround myself with people who are the movers and shakers of the society, if I surround myself with people who are limit breakers, if I surround myself with people who just are change agents, I will become a change agent, because that is the information I'm sending into my mind. But if I surround myself with people who like to have excuses, if I surround myself with people who like to just blame the government and blame their parents and blame the economy for everything, that is the kind of person that I'll become. Because you become who you surround yourself with. You see what you get. Is what you see that is what you get. It is who you surround yourself that you become. It is what you hear that you eventually think upon and say. And these are the processes that determine if you can get to the next level. If you want to raise your game in life, you have to change the paradigm through which you see things, because everything is about perspective. It is not the situation on the outside. It is not that person that you are dealing with. It is not that company that you're dealing with. It is who you really are on the inside. And who you really are on the inside will determine how you look at things. Some people see a recession and they feel that, yay, they are going to make money. Some people see the recession and say, oh my God, that's the end for me. But you see, this recession is coming whether you like it or not. And that's the same thing. When the rain comes, the farmer is happy that he's about to plant or harvest is here. When the rain comes, the person who thrives on being in the sun feels that that is a problem. The problem is not with the rain. The problem is not with the situations. It is how you see it. And if you're going to go to the next level, you have to change how you look at things. Because at the end of the day, to raise your game, you have to be able to make adjustments to your life. If you make those adjustments, internalize those adjustments, and let your mind present you with fresh information that can help you break the barriers you had in the past, then you will see yourself being a game changer. You see yourself being someone who breaks limits. You see yourself someone who effortlessly achieves results. There is nothing more to do but to change your perspective, and that way you'll be able to change your game. Until I come your way next time, this is Henry Alamiju. Thank you for